Hello, we're heading back to the Bay State. Massachusetts roads, from the tight turns of Boston to the Berkshire Hills, require a professional driver to be at the top of their game. Let's run through every single one of these critical requirements for your Massachusetts CDL permit. What is the minimum tread depth for steering axle tires? 4/32 inch. Front tires guide the vehicle. They need the most grip to prevent sliding and ensure precise steering. Next question. What is the minimum tread depth for all other tires? 2/32 inch. Drive and trailer tires still need enough tread to shed water and maintain traction under heavy loads. Continuing. At what PSI must the low air pressure warning signal come on? Before pressure falls below 60 PSI. This light or buzzer is your red alert to stop before the system loses enough air to lock the brakes. Let's move on. In Massachusetts, what is the legal BAC limit for CDL holders? 0.04%. The standard for commercial drivers is twice as strict as for regular drivers. Safety is the priority. Next point. How many red reflective triangles are required in your emergency kit? 3. Federal and state laws require 3 to ensure you can mark your position from multiple distances. Continuing. What is the first step of a pre-trip inspection? Review the last vehicle inspection report. You must verify that any previously reported safety issues have been fixed and signed off on. Next question. How far ahead should you look while driving? 12 to 15 seconds. Looking a quarter mile ahead on the highway gives you the time to react smoothly to traffic changes. Let's keep going. When should you downshift a manual transmission? Before entering a curve or starting down a hill. You want the engine to help control your speed before the grade or turn begins to pull the vehicle. Next point. What is the move over law in Massachusetts? You must change lanes or slow down for stationary emergency or maintenance vehicles. This includes police, tow trucks, and road crews. If you can't safely move over, you must reduce speed significantly. Continuing. What is the purpose of the tractor protection valve? To keep air in the tractor if the trailer breaks away. It protects the tractor's air supply so you still have brakes even if a line snaps or the trailer detaches. Next question. What is off-tracking? When the rear wheels follow a different path than the front wheels. This is why you must swing wide on turns. The trailer will always take a shorter path than the tractor. Let's move on. How do you check for a secure coupling? Gently pull forward against the trailer brakes. This tug test confirms that the locking jaws have physically latched onto the kingpin. Next point. What is the maximum air leakage rate for a combination vehicle, brakes released? 3 psi in 1 minute. With the engine off and the system charged, a leak faster than 3 psi per minute is a major safety defect. Continuing. What is the maximum air leakage rate for a combination vehicle, brakes applied? 4 psi in 1 minute. When you hold the brake pedal down, the system is under more pressure. The limit here is slightly higher at 4 psi. Next question. What happens when air pressure drops to 20 to 45 psi? The spring brakes will usually come on. When air pressure is too low to hold back the heavy mechanical springs, they pop out and lock the wheels. Let's keep going. How far from the nearest rail should you stop at a railroad crossing? 15 to 50 feet. Always give the tracks plenty of space and ensure you have a clear view in both directions. Next point. Why avoid using the trailer hand valve to park? Air may leak out, causing the brakes to release. The hand valve, trolley bar, depends on air pressure. Only the mechanical spring brakes can be trusted for long-term parking. Continuing. What is the best way to handle a tire blowout? Hold the wheel firmly and stay off the brake. Sudden braking can cause you to lose control. Maintain steering and let the truck slow down naturally. Next question. What is the purpose of a retarder? To help slow the vehicle and reduce brake wear. Retarders, like engine brakes, help maintain speed on hills without overheating your service brakes. Let's move on. Why is using a retarder on wet or icy roads dangerous? It can cause the drive wheels to skid. Since the retarder only brakes the drive wheels, it can cause them to lose traction on slippery surfaces. Next point. How do you test the parking brake? Gently pull against it in a low gear. If the truck moves easily while the parking brake is set, the brakes need immediate adjustment. Continuing. What color is the ABS malfunction lamp? Yellow. If this light stays on, your anti-lock system is down, but your standard braking system will still work. Next question. How often should you check your cargo after starting? Within 50 miles, and every 150 miles, or 3 hours after. Constant checks ensure that straps haven't loosened and the load hasn't shifted during transit. Let's keep going. What is the primary cause of brake fade? Overheating of the brakes. When pads and drums get too hot from overuse, they lose the ability to create the friction needed to stop. Next point, how do you test the service brakes? Drive forward at 5 miles per hour and push the pedal firmly. The truck should stop straight and quickly, without pulling to either side or feeling spongy. Continuing, what is the safety valve in an air brake system set to open at 150 psi? This valve vents air to the atmosphere if the governor fails, preventing the tanks from overpressurizing. Next question, how far behind the vehicle should the first triangle be on a divided highway? 10 feet. On a one-way or divided road, all three markers go behind the vehicle at 10, 100, and 200 feet. Let's move on. What does the air compressor governor do? Controls when the compressor pumps air into the tanks. It maintains the pressure balance by starting and stopping the compressor as needed. Next point, what are the two ways to know when to shift gears? Engine speed, RPM, and road speed, MPH. Listening to the engine and watching your gauges tells you the perfect time to upshift or downshift. Continuing, when uncoupling, what is done after locking the trailer brakes? Lower the landing gear. You must ensure the trailer is fully supported before you disconnect the air lines and pull the tractor away. Next question, what is a header board used for? To protect the driver from shifting cargo. This headache rack prevents the load from crashing through the back of the cab during a sudden stop. Let's keep going. If you are being tailgated, you should increase your following distance. Opening more space in front of you reduces the need for sudden braking, keeping you and the tailgater safer. Next point, what is the rule for using a fire extinguisher? Aim at the base of the fire. You have to hit the source of the fuel to put the fire out effectively. Continuing, when checking the air compressor belt, look for proper tension and no cracks. A faulty belt can cause the compressor to fail, which eventually leads to a complete loss of air. Next question, what should you do if your wheels start to skid? Stop braking and steer into the skid. Letting the wheels roll again allows you to regain steering control and stabilize the vehicle. Let's move on. What is the bridge formula? A weight limit based on the number and spacing of axles. It is designed to protect bridge structures by spreading the total weight across the entire vehicle. Next point, how do you check the slack adjusters? Pull hard on each one with gloves on. The pushrod should not move more than about 1 inch. Any more means the brakes are out of adjustment. Continuing, what is the correct position for landing gear during travel? Fully raised with the handles secured. Low landing gear can snag on obstacles or railroad tracks, causing a severe accident or trailer damage. Next question, which glad hand is for the service line? Blue. The blue line carries the signal from your brake pedal, while the red line is for the emergency supply. Let's keep going. What is the danger of an empty trailer during braking? It can bounce and lock the wheels easily. Without a load to provide traction, an empty trailer is actually harder to stop smoothly on slippery roads. Next point, why must the fifth wheel plate be greased? To prevent steering problems. Lack of grease causes metal-on-metal friction that makes the tractor bind or resist turning smoothly. Continuing, what should you do if you are sleepy while driving? Pull over and take a nap. Fatigue is as dangerous as impairment. Don't push it. Find a safe place to rest immediately. Next question. What is the purpose of the emergency air line, red? Supplies air to trailer tanks and controls emergency brakes. This line keeps the trailer's tanks full and prevents the spring brakes from locking up while driving. Let's move on. How do you check the trailer connection by looking? Jaws are closed around the kingpin shank. Get under the trailer with a flashlight and visually verify that the locking jaws have fully engaged. Next point, what is the maximum height for a vehicle in MA without a permit? 13 feet 6 inches. Massachusetts is full of old, low-clearance bridges. Knowing your height is non-negotiable. Continuing, at what psi should the air compressor stop pumping, cut out? Around 125 psi. Once the tanks are full, the governor tells the compressor to take a break. Next question, at what psi should the air compressor start pumping, cut in? Around 100 psi. When pressure drops to this level, the governor kicks the compressor back on to recharge the system. Let's keep going. What is the proper following distance for a 40-foot vehicle at 40 miles per hour? 4 seconds. The rule is 1 second per 10 feet of vehicle. Since you are under 40 miles per hour, you don't need the extra safety second. Next point, What should you do if you see a hazard in the road? Plan a way to avoid it before you reach it. Anticipation is the key to professional driving. Always have an out or a plan for every hazard you spot. Continuing, what is the final step of a post-trip inspection? Complete the vehicle inspection report. This formal document alerts your company and the next driver to any issues that need fixing before the truck hits the road again. That covers every point for the Massachusetts permit review. You're building a solid foundation for your CDL.